nikatoka. Baadaye walitangulia na ndugu yangu Jamil wakaenda naye. Kisha kuna askari mmoja alinishika, roho yangu ilikuwa inapiga sana, akanishika akaniambia usipige roho sana, mahali tumekutoa ni mahali hatari sana kushinda mahali upo. Ile kitengo ulikuwa nayo ndio wabaya zaidi. Hapa sisi tu tutakuhoji maswali, ukicomply utarudi ukiwa mzima, bora usidanganye. So mimi nikamwambia mimi niko tayari, maswali mtaniuliza niko tayari. So mimi sijai fanya crime kwa hii nchi na sijai commit any crime. So niko tayari, mnieleze nijue pia mimi nimekushikwa na kosa ipi. Kuingizwa katika lile chumba, mimi pia nikatolewa kwa hiyo prado, nikapelekwa kwa kile chumba. Kufika kwa ile chumba kulikuwa na corridor, kuna some room ilifunguliwa. Katika kile chumba nikiingia nikapata ndugu yangu ametolewa nguo zote, ambaki ndio uchi wa mnyama, na mimi pia nikaambiwa nitoe nguo zangu zote nibaki uchi wa mnyama. Na kulikuwa na kiti hapo imefungwa permanent kwa wall. So hiyo kiti ni kama ya torture, vitu tunaona kwa movies. For the first time nilijionea kwa maisha yangu, nikakuwa surprised sana. After kama 30 minutes tumekalishwa hapo chini, kulifunguliwa mlango tena na kuja na afisa mmoja mfupi na amefanya mazoezi. Huyo afisa alianza kunipiga sana na kunihoji, mtasema pesa ya maandamano na nani wafadhili wenyu wanawafadhili kufanya maandamano? Mimi nikawajibu tu wa mimi sina bosi yangu wala mtu yoyote anafadhili katika hii nchi, isipokuwa mimi nimejituma kama mzalendo, mwananchi wa Kenya, kutetea haki na uchumi ya maisha jinsi inavyotupeleka na hii finance bill na SHA na vitu kama hizi zenye serikali inashinda kibadilisha, na sisi wananchi hatufaidiki bali tunateseka juu yake. Nikamwambia hata huyo afisa kwa sisi tunaandamana hata juu yenu nyinyi afisa, mko na watoto, mko na families. So sijaenda pale kujipresent bali nimeenda kupresent wewe na Wakenya wengine wote. Narudi kwa ndugu yangu akampiga, na katika kile chumba kulikuwa na tubes ikafunguliwa pia, kuna wengine wakapigwa wakaambiwa wasijaribu kufanya ibada, walikatazwa si wanaswali na wanaswali. Baada ya muda tulilala. Baada ya siku moja ya pili nikaletewa chakula. Siku ya tatu ndipo mimi nilitolewa katika kile chumba, nikakuwa separate na ndugu yangu Jamil Longton. So katika lile chumba nilipelekwa pia ilikuwa hivyo hivyo cubes, nikafungwa kwa wall pingu na niko bila nilivyozaliwa. Nikawa tu blanketi ndio imetandikwa chini na hii 5 liter jerrycan imekatwa juu. So haja kubwa haja ndogo ni pale pale, na nikaambia masharti ya pale ndani, usiulize swali yoyote ama kujaribu kuongea mpaka saa ile mlango itafunguliwa, ndipo utakuwa na uhuru wa kuongea na kuitisha chakula. So mimi 32 days kusema kuambia sisi hata surprise tumekuwa tukienda kwa street, saa zingine hata hatuna maji wala hatuna financial, hata saa zingine gari tunatembea mafuta inaisha kwa barabara. So ukiniambia tumekuwa finance nakuwa surprised sana kusikia jambo kama hilo. Hawa napigwa, teswa, maji sipati. After 32 days ndio nimekuja kuona freedom na kurudi kuona sasa kama mimi binadamu nimerudi kuwa kutana na wananchi wengine. Mimi changamoto niliyopitia imenifanya mimi kuwa kiserikali labda waliona maybe wakifanya hizo torture utakuwa scared, utaogopa, lakini imefanya mimi kuwa jasiri la kupigania nchi kwa jambo lolote litatokea mbele yangu. So mimi nashukuru sana Wakenya kusimama sana sisi, na hayo ndio changamoto sisi tumepitia mimi na ndugu yangu 32 days, na wakati nimetoka ndio nimekuja kurealize Bob Njagi kumbe wakinihoji maswali kule ndani kumbe pia yameshikwa at the same point. So nikaona hao watu wanacheza na akili zetu, kuwa wako na mtu na wanakuhoji maswali kuhusu huyo mtu ili waone ukiongea opposite to him ama kitu kingine ndio wanazidi kufuatilia. So these guys they are not joker, but kimimi tuzidi tu vile anavyosema tu, umoja ni nguvu, tengamano ni udhaifu. So tukizidi kushikana na tumaini tutafaulu. Barabara yetu Mungu ako na sisi mbele na nyuma. Hayo tu, hebu kama kuna maswali mtu anaweza uliza, kwa tayari kuyajibu.
Yeah, pole sana Bwana Aslam. Sorry for what you went through. Ni mambo ambayo sio rahisi na sio kitu mtu anaweza, sio kitu ya kawaida. Bob Njagi, before mwingine aongee, maybe ni wakati pia wewe useme the experience yako, unless kama Longton yuko huyo mwingine Jamil. Jamil, Jamil ako karibu. Yeah, karibu Jamil, karibu. You can have the mic and basically follow up on the at least your experience.
Okay, Jamil atajoin tennis time soon, so I think Bob Njagi anaweza continue.
Okay, asante Aslam.
Okay, Jamil anasema ana link.
Okay, si umpatie link yenye uko nayo, you can share hiyo link umetumia, just share to him kwa WhatsApp.
Muonesha.
Ni forward kwa WhatsApp copy.
Ama okay, kama mko pamoja, I think he can talk for, if you're together he can use your phone to talk.
Okay, no. I think he's around.
Hello?
Karibu Jamil, karibu Jamil, please tafadhali tueleze vile ulivyoona, because people are saying, wengine wanasema ati watu hapa ati ni uongo sijui nini. We want people to understand that these things are happening. Karibu sana.
Hiyo ni sawa, watu wanasema tu maneno. They want to politicize hii mambo ya abduction just to run away from the truth, but you see, you cannot just abduct yourself then you go torture yourself for 32 days. Yeah, you keep away from your family. Like myself, my wife was about 8 months pregnant old. I switch off my phone, which I've never done the entire of my life. So hiyo vitu yenye wanajaribu kusema ni uongo kabisa kabisa kabisa. And you cannot just do it the two brothers. Tunafanya 32 days tunazima simu zetu si sote kujifanya. So hiyo ni propaganda ya watu. We were arrested by police officers. We don't know from which department, but they are police officers from the security agencies. And the reason for the arrest was about maandamano, because they suspected that we are highly funded to do the maandamanos. Na sisi wenyewe tuko ile broke mbaya sana. Hata hakuna kakitu hapa, watu wanatuambia we funded the Kitengela maandamanos. Yeah, so that's what I can say.
Okay, asante sana Jamil. You can
Yes.
hear, listeners, this is the reality that is happening in this country. In
Yes.
fact, when the Longtons and Bob were abducted, it became an issue that was escalated, and we thought that we had finally gotten to a point that this thing will end, and then ikaongezeka. So Bob Njagi, I think following up on Jamil's input, maybe unaweza kuja utuongezee pia. Asanteni.
Asante sana bwana co-host Nicholas Oyo. Once again, to those who have just come in, my name is Bob Njagi. I'm one of the victims of enforced disappearances, abduction in Kenya. I am the chairperson of the Free Kenya movement, and we have been actively participating in various activities that are social, economic, legal, and constitutional that are aimed towards, bringing a positive change in this country. Nikiongea kwa Kiswahili ndio kila mtu anipate vizuri. Mimi nilitekwa nyara tarehe 19 mwendo wa saa 4:30 saa 5 nikiwa nimetoka Nairobi nikielekea nyumbani. Mimi nakaa Kitengela, hata kina Longton Jamil na Aslam Jamil wanakaa Kitengela. So on that fateful day, I was in Nairobi and I had gone to see one of my Mr. Jimmy Wanjigi had been arrested and had been incarcerated at Kamkunji police station. So I left Kitengela and went to Nairobi in solidarity with him. And during the 9 o'clock news on Citizen TV, I happened to appear on the news with Wakili Willis Otieno. And I think when I appeared on TV, that's when they located me, because throughout the day, I had put my phone off because I was aware that we were being tracked using mobile phones. So I had switched off my phones, and that explains why they were not able to locate me until evening. So in the evening at about 9:30, 10 o'clock, after realizing that Mheshimiwa Jimmy was going to spend the night at the station, then I decided to go back home. I was in the company of my colleagues from the Free Kenya movement, that is Mr. Oyo, Halima, Florence Kanywa, and Felix Wambua. They dropped me off at in Nairobi at the bus terminus for Dengela. I picked a bus, a Rainbow Shuttle, which was heading towards Kitengela. En route to Kitengela, as we got to Mlolongo, some passengers stood up to alight, and at that point is when the 4 men came into the car. These men were masked, and they had hoods on them, like walikuwa na zile mahood na kofia. This man came in the vehicle and insisted that I was in possession of a firearm, which I don't own one. And they violently got me off the bus. I think that story has been narrated many times in the press. And in the course of that abduction, they used a lot of violence to get me out. They beat me up using blows, kicks. They had guns, they had handcuffs, they had walkie-talkies. And so I was subdued, I surrendered, and I was put inside the back seat of the car on the floor, violently assaulted with inside the car. I was tortured, almost to a near-death situation. I actually gave up any hope about life on that day. We drove around for about an hour, and then came to a stop somewhere. As we stopped, I was transferred from one vehicle to a second vehicle, and the second vehicle is the one that now drove me to the destination where we were being detained. Upon reaching that building, I was ushered into a very small, dark room, size of 6 feet by around 4 feet. I spent 2 nights in the cold floor, handcuffed at the back and hooded in the front. blindfolded rather. Hapo tulikaa siku mbili, nikakuja siku ya pili, maafisa wakakuja wawili, wakaniambia nisimame, nikasimama, wakanitoa kwa hiyo chumba, wakanipeleka first floor kwenye chumba kingine. Kwenye hiyo nyumba ingine ndio kulikuwa na kidogo mattress ndogo hapo na blanketi. Sasa hii wakati huu nimetoa damu, nimevuja damu, sura, midomo, miguu inavuja damu. So hata sijijui kabisa. I was in a state of shock after the kind of treatment I'm being subjected. These guys were very clear that that we are being arrested because of the protest, the demonstrations that were happening in the country. And they were very adamant that a phone call has been made from up there somewhere, and that is the end. We're not going back to our families again. It was decided that we are being abducted and we are being extrajudicially killed. That was a foregone conclusion, and we were informed about it, and I was expecting any moment anything to happen. So I was held now in this house for another 30 days. After the first 2 days, I was transferred to a second room, which I stayed for 30 days. During these 30 days, there was a lot of physical and emotional torture, psychological torture as well. You don't know whether you're going to make it through that day. You don't know what is your fate. What are your people outside there saying? Are they safe? You know. So we managed. I managed to stay there through the grace of God, and I really appreciate Kenyans for coming out in their large numbers to call for our release. And I think that really helped a great deal, especially with the human rights organizations, the Law Society of Kenya, the media, and the social media, social media platforms, Twitter, especially X. There's a lot of communication on X. I stayed there for another 30 days, and on 20th of September, 19th of September midnight, going into 20th of September, 2 officers came. They asked me to stand up and put on my clothes. They threw the clothes down, and I dressed. They removed the handcuffs, but did not tell me where we were going. They replaced the handcuffs with plastic tie knots. And they took me out of the room, downstairs, and into the car. We drove around for another 30 minutes while outside. And while we were driving around, I was strictly told not to communicate or to talk about what has happened to us, or rather to me. The people who abducted us are definitely agents of the state, and they know, and the state is very well aware about what is happening. I just want to say that for such a crime to be categorized as a crime against humanity, that is enforced disappearances, there are 3 qualifications. 1, there must be a deprivation of liberty against the will of the person. Number 2, there must be involvement of government officials, at least by acquiescence. And number 3, there has to be a refusal to acknowledge the deprivation of liberty and the concealment of the fate of the whereabouts of the disappeared persons. So, if you look at the description of enforced disappearance under these 3 thresholds, this is a case of enforced disappearance, and which is a crime, an international crime against humanity. And therefore, I think that the matter of abductions cannot be treated lightly. We have to move this matter and scale it up all the way to the international community and see how we can find a permanent solution for such crimes against humanity. That was my experience, and I thank God we came out alive. I'd want to end there for now, and if there are any questions, kama kuna maswali, mtu anaweza uliza. But the thing is this, we are working towards putting together a lawsuit that is going to a petition against the government of Kenya on these cases of enforced disappearances. We need the support of Kenyans for us to push this through. It's not an easy case. We know that people have been disappeared even as witnesses in previous cases like the ICC cases, where people have tried to give evidence against the state. And so we understand that this is a process that could be life-threatening. But all in all, we say that it is what it is, and we have to do what has to be done. With your support and with the support and the indulgence of everyone, I think we can be able to put these matters to rest. But more importantly, how do we form a unity of purpose going forward so that we know that this government must go, Kasongo must go, but how do we organize ourselves from the concerned citizens, Kikao, Kenya Bora Tuitakayo, other organizations like Kongomano la Mageuzi? We have so many progressive forces that are working towards the same end, but they are not organized into one movement. So again, we find that our disunity is allowing them to get away with a lot of these atrocities. But I believe that going forward, Kenyans are more resolved and united, na tutaweza kupambana na Kasongo na tutashinda. Hii ni changamoto kidogo. Kwa hivyo, asanti kwa kunisikiliza. Ningependa kurudisha kwa co-host mwenzangu Nicholas Oyo.
Asante sana Bob Njagi, asante sana Aslam Longton, asante sana Jamil Longton. Listeners, we also have, we are still looking for Steve Kavingo. He's missing. We are still looking for Justus Mutimwa. He's missing. We are still looking for Martin Mwao. He's missing. We are still looking for Kalani Mwema. These are the Mlolongo 4. They are still missing. People are being disappeared in this country in a manner that you can't.
Hello, SG, are you there? We seem to have lost him. Hello, SG, if you can hear me, we're not hearing what you're saying, perhaps the communication. We have a hand up from Generali, so I'm gonna give Generali time to speak. Generali, kindly go ahead. Can you say something, Generali? You can hear me, Generali. Can you say something?
Generally,
Generali Kongomano la Mageuzi, can you hear me?
Yes, comrade.
Comrade, how are you? Happy New Year. Hello, comrade, can you hear me? Generali, you're the speaker now.
Comrade, you keep on muting me. That's why you can't hear me.
I think the co-host, Oyo, stop muting I've unmuted everyone, kindly.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. I hope I won't be muted again. First of all, revolutionary greetings, comrades and fighters of the struggle. My name is Generali, an organizer with Kongamano la Mapinduzi. Kongamano la Mapinduzi is a political movement, just like also the Free Kenya movement, which wants to seize political power. I would say that, first of all, salutations to each and everyone who has been on the front line to stand in solidarity with our comrades who are abducted by this bogus regime led by William Samoei Ruto. And also to thank Kenyans for being defiant, because we've decided now resistance is the only way that will help us. Because who is William Ruto to just come and abduct people anyhow the way he wants? This is not his country. I mean, this is not his house that he wants to do each and everything that he wants whenever he feels like. So we must, at this point, we must rise up. We must speak up, because mali imefika. I don't think tunaenda kumassage punda kwa mteremko, na because Zakaya ametuonyesha what is capable of. Zakaya ametuonyesha that he doesn't care. Hata akituua, hiyo ni shauri yenu. Tuliona the other day alisema na kilugha yao that mkiniweka kwa imaginary casket, mi nitaweka kwa real casket. Comrades, that is something that we shouldn't be silent about. Tuliona jamaa mwingine hapa anaitwa Farah Maalim, ametutusi na mama zetu. This is the time we must make our parents angry, because William Ruto thinks that we are our parents, wenye maybe aliuzia uoga na akawadanganya. We are not our parents anymore. Sisi mali imefika, do or die. Nyumbani, because nasemanga nyumbani au kifo tutashinda. Homeland or death, we shall win. Because we are in a struggle. And we are at war. And this war, the people must win this war. Because it is articulated in Article 1 of the Kenyan Constitution that this is our war. And we must win this war. And what must we do to win this war? First of all, the first thing that we must do is we have to make a political statement. We must make a political statement to these people and warn them. The likes of Kimani Ichung'wah, wenye sahi sasa wako na kifua. Wako na kifua sasa sahi wanaweza bonga because they are close to the president. The likes of Sudi wanaweza bonga just because now sasa hao ni mabeste. You see, I mean, hii si hoteli yako, hii si hoteli ya William Samuel Ruto yenye anafeel anaweza run venye anadai. Ati sahi mse ukidunga tisho ya must go na uko tao, wale makara wa Central wanakuchota ati because wako threatened. Ukipelekwa kotini, how many people have been arrested because of the protest wakisema Ruto must go, na wanapelekwa kotini? Complainant anafaa kwenye Ruto, mbona ni makara ndo anatupeleka kotini? And also we have to tell NIS, we have to tell DCI, you bullshit. Mali imefika hata hao abductors wakikuja. Sasa itabidi tu tuna deal now sasa man to man. Because and I'm sure even in this space they've sent their NIS people to come and hey, kina Bob wanasema nini? We don't care the bullshit. Mali imefika, let us die if you want to kill us. But we're not going to allow you to do that anymore. Because we are just telling you, stop this nonsense. When we tell you stop this nonsense, stop abducting us, stop this, and stop this. Wewe sasa unaona wananiambia ni stop this, hawanijui. Mimi ndio president ama mimi ndio boss wa nini. Now we know where these orders from above do come from. And comrades, hii time imefika, kuna kitu lazima tufanye. As we make a political statement, we must ensure that we must increase the pressure. Hiyo pressure mali imefika bado hiyo pressure bado. Lazima tuongeze hiyo pressure. Unaona venye gas unafunguanga, pressure inaanza pole inapanda. Tuongeze hiyo pressure mpaka feel. Kama ni kusema tunataka kutuma emails to all these embassies, to all African embassies, to all African president, wawe ni wale dictators. Because the other day, and if you want to know, for me, this was my analysis when I saw Museveni in the country, hizo pande za Siaya, then I asked myself, what are our security protocols? Maze Museveni amekuja in our country, venye Museveni amekuja in our country, maze amekuja na wanajeshi wake wako kwa Land Cruiser na zimejaa. Then nikajiuliza, security protocol yetu ni gani? When a president from another country comes into our country, anafaa kujaje? I mean, security yake inafaa ikayaje? Museveni akikuja huku ana feel free, yani nikae ndio president wa huku sasa. And people didn't question that. Cheki vile Samia Suluhu kuja Kenya, the kind of security. Then mbona tuoni Zakayo, mbona Zakayo yeye akienda Uganda ama akienda country ingine aendi na that kind of security. So comrades, our president watatu vile wameshikana hivi, washatuonyesha wameungana, na sisi ndio time yenye pia sisi lazima tuungane. It doesn't matter wewe sijui ni wa Free Kenya movement, sijui ni wa Amnesty, sijui ni wa social justice movement. Hii si time hizi vita ndogo ndogo, comrades. Hii si time ya vita hizi ndogo ndogo. Hii sahi ni time ya kufocus on the ball. Kuangalia hizi vita ndogo ndogo hizi tutazisort when we get there. When we get tukisha get your power, tukisha ostau jamaa William Samuel Ruto na tumempeleka hocha, na ama hata si hocha, tumempeleka kamiti, because zile crimes amecommit, he must be held accountable. And Justin Muturi ametuonyesha who is the chief abductor, who has been running the game. Hata kama ni mchezo ya town wanajaribu kucheza, but he has come clear to tell us who has been issuing these orders for who is to be abducted today, who is to do what, who is to do what, who is to do what. Because if a whole president can kill young people on the streets, then he comes to the television and says, we were
Hello. Are we still on? Generally, I cannot hear you. Is Generally still on with the speaker? SG, can you hear Generally? Co-host SG, can you hear me?
I'm not sure what's happening. I can hear you, Bob, but I can't hear Generally, and I can't hear your co-host.
I think his network. I can see it's connecting, so it seems like his network is unstable. We might give him another opportunity to continue after he comes back on. I don't know whether he's on. Generally, can you hear us? Okay. We have other people who have raised their hands. Yeah. Perhaps before Generally comes back, I can see Professor Fred Ogola wants to say something. There's Garang Mzalendo. Garang Mzalendo, can you hear? Can you say something? Karibu.
Yes. Thank you, Comrade Bob.
Karibu sana.
My name is Garang Mzalendo. I'm the Deputy Secretary General of Ukweli Party, and I'm also the convener of Kenyans for Tax Justice Social Movement. Poleni sana kwanza, comrades Bob na other comrades who have gone through those ordeals. one thing ambayo ningependa kusema kwanza Bob ni kuwa when hizo 32 days hata sisi as comrades hatukukuwa na amani. Hatukuwa tunalala, hatukuwa na peace of mind from our end because kwanza kuna siku ilifika rumors ikaanza kutembea ati ati sasa wameua Bob, God forbid. Hiyo kitu ilikuwa ilituchemsha zaidi, na tulikuwa tunachemsha mambo ya tulioccupy milimani Lokots, tuliimba huko, tulipiga kelele kabisa, na tunasema kuwa is not a good situation kuput sovereign Kenyans in, and I believe we as Kenyans hatufai kuallow hawa watu waendelee kutubeba hivyo wanatubeba, because nao wanajifanyao ni landlords hii Kenya na si ni tenants. We are here, we are living at their mercy. And I believe sisi lazima hizi abduction to stop, because hizi abduction wanatumia kama kutu distract while they are stealing our resources, wana grab land, wana auction country to the highest bidder. We as Kenyans, we must rise up, and we must rise up defiantly. Hii 2025 ndio the year of bringing down William Ruto and his thugs, because now pali imefikia lazima tu increase pressure, na tuna salute sana jeshi ya Kitengela. Nyinyi ni watu wa nguvu sana, mchemsha maneno on that end, na tunataka turudishe momentum irudi the same way, tuzidi kuchemsha, kwa sababu hii Kenya sasa pahali imefikia, if we don't rise up, if we don't stand in solidarity together, we will be hanged separately. Kwa hivyo sisi kama Wakenya, we must rise up, lazima to strengthen our solidarity, lazima to bring all our movements together, lazima to organize consistently. Tukiamua ni maandamano, tunapanga non-stop maandamano, na watu wasiogope hii kushikwa, hizi abductions. Hawezi abduct 50 million Kenyans, hawezi ua 50 million Kenyans. So sisi as Kenyans lazima tushikane, tuungane, to bring down hii monster, kwa sababu watu wanasema we wait for elections. Umesikia wakipronounce kuwa it doesn't matter what will happen at the ballot, they will not hand over power peacefully, meaning that we have to organize ourselves and take over this power bila their permission, because saa hii wamefikia level wanaona ni kama wanaweza to permit to do anything, while the Article 1 gives all sovereign power to us. So I believe we as Kenyans, we must rise up, lazima to strengthen our solidarity, lazima tufikie Wakenya kila pahali, tuhakikishe kuwa tuna shut down this country for renovation, because we don't have a country at the moment. Saa hii we have thieves in power, we have murderers, abductors in power, and we cannot wait for miracles to happen. We have to continue organizing. Our comrades have died, others are missing. We must continue raising our resistance flag higher and make sure that we liberate this country in our lifetime. Viva comrades, viva.
Viva, viva, viva. Thank you so much, Garang, for your very inspiring words. I'd like to welcome, we had a speaker, Mr. Irungu Houghton from Amnesty International. He was supposed to give us some insights regarding the human rights violations on these abductions. I think he had a session with Citizen TV, and he has communicated that he'll be joining us shortly after the interview. I think if he's online, perhaps Mr. Irungu Houghton, Amnesty International, if you're listening, kindly just send a request so I can add you as a speaker. Further to that, I think, do we have any more persons who want to say something? The floor is open. I can see 12 persons have requested to speak so far. Fred Ogola, are you still with us? Professor Fred Ogola.
Yes, I am.
If you're still with us, perhaps you can take us through a recap of what the speakers have discussed, and probably give us as a direction in terms of in regards to what all the speakers have had to say. We've had Garang Mzalendo from Ukweli Party, Secretary General, who has talked about solidarity and the need for this year for us to have a total shutdown. We have Generali from Kongomano la Mageuzi, who has also said that we need to increase the pressure and there is need for unity of purpose. People must unite and all progressive forces should unite. So, Professor, please take us through a summary of these remarks, kindly, as we wait for Irungu Newton. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bob. What is interesting is that, first of all, let me just talk from the point of view of the people who are actually abducted. What I've heard from them is that, first of all, it was surprising. Secondly, it was completely dehumanizing and painful, psychologically torturous. But most importantly, what they have said is that their resolve is that they have come out much stronger and more willing to fight for their country, and it has hardened them and even made them think more about their country, and they're willing to fight. I think that's what has come out very clearly from the speakers, especially those who are the actual victims of this abduction. What has also come out is that as Bob was inside and other people were inside, the people who remain outside were very tortured, because at least Bob, Aslam, and the Longton brothers, you guys knew you were alive, but for us, we didn't know. So our main frustration was that we didn't know what was happening with you. At least for you guys knew you were alive. For us, we were more concerned you are not, or you might not be alive, or we may never see you again. I kept looking at the photos we took with Bob. That very day you were abducted, we took a photo together. I kept looking at that and saying that it is impossible that this was the last photo we took. So Bob, I was happy to appear in a photo again with you, and I'm looking for many more to come. So that the main expression was that even the people who are outside were suffering equally. We went to went to the courts. We chanted. We even risked being arrested. We were beaten up. We ate more tear gas just because no one had peace. Whenever we could hear that there was anything that could help push the agenda, we appeared. So that's the second thing. Then lastly, I've just heard generally Garang here, among other people, expressing that we should not give up and should push harder. If William Ruto wins this war with abduction, we forever will lose to him. We should make him realize that this is his single bullet. Because remember, William Ruto had several strategies. First was arresting, beating, killing, maiming. It didn't work. And then he brought in Raila Odinga. It has not worked. He continued the abduction. It's not working. He salimiaed Uhuru. It's not working. I don't know whom he's going to agree next time. So we have to make him realize that he's running out of options and that he cannot work. I think that's what mainly speakers were trying to say. It's not a time to relent. It's a time to work much harder. Then, of course, Bob said the way forward that from here, where do we go? We need to take this thing to court. We need to take this war to the Kenyan courts, to the regional courts, but even internationally. And why I was raising up my hand, Bob and every speaker, was exactly because of that. We need people to come together. And I like what has been said by Generali. Let us not fight small battle. Oh, you see, I want to be more famous than Bob. Bob wants to be better than me. I don't know. Generali, I don't know. Shakira, I know. Halina, no. Let us fight that war against one William Ruto and win that war fast. Because we don't have to win small battles. Once we win that big war, we can fight smaller battles. And remember that the effort to divide us will be one of the government's biggest weapon to divide us. And let us not accept to be divided at all. Even to be put in different rooms like abduction centers, let us always be together, hold hands, chain ourselves together, and be with bonds that cannot be broken. That should be our biggest tool. When we are together, these people cannot beat us. In fact, let me tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, the power that William Ruto has is not there if we don't give it. The relevance Raila Odinga gets when he goes to public is only us who give him. The relevance the likes of Kalonzo Musyoka gets, they only have it when we give them. When we withdraw. So for me, I'm having another chant now. We had said before, when we lose our fear, they lose their power. Now, when we unite together and take away our power from them, they are powerless. So when we unite and take our power from them, because we are the one giving them, what makes them popular is us who chant them, who know them. Let us unfollow them in every social media. I know some of you believe you should know what they are saying, but let us go and unfollow all of them. Anybody whom you think is part of that constituency or that nation of abduction, those supporting abduction, those killing our economy, those lack of integrity, why should you follow people with no integrity? You should even not acknowledge them. Bobby, remember when we were in Kitengela, when we stood to speak, I refused to refer to some of those people, Your Excellency, because for what excellent are they at? I just stood and gave our speech. Let us ignore them. Let us remove their relevance from them. When we remove the relevance we give them, they are not relevant. When we take away the power they are holding, which we gave them, they are powerless. When we take away their legitimacy, they remain illegitimate. So that is the war we need to fight. First of all, make them irrelevant. Never refer them to, I don't know, honorable this. No, those people are just thieves. So that's why we said here that rallying call is one. We have two nations here. That is the looting nation and the looted. We have two tribes, Wezi, na those things stolen from, Wanaoiba na Wanaoibiwa. That is the two tribes we have in this country. The abductors and the abducted, or the abductees. We have just two nations here. And if the nation of abducted, the nation of the looted, the nation of Wanaoibiwa, if they come together, the few people steal from them have no thing to steal, and we shall guard what we have. So I wanted just to say that let us unite together first. Even if we want to take over power, like has been said by Generali, let's first of all fill the bus with the right leaders. When the bus is full with the right leaders and their bus is empty, let us decide who is going to sit on the driver's seat, who will be the conductor, who will be the manamba, nani atakuwa mechanic, nani atakuwa anaonyesha watu direction. Wacha tuingie kwa hii bus pamoja, na basi ikishajaa na basi yao haijajaa, basi yetu ndio natoka, kwa sababu basi yao haiwezi toka kama haijajaa, na basi yao ni wachache tu, au wezi ni wachache sana. So that's my first rallying call. The last one I want to say, and this is on the way going forward, I will not divulge so much information because already there's so much going on, but I can't say everything because saying everything in this platform, like someone says these guys are in this platform, may just make our strategy not work. First and foremost, I have a senior counsel whom we have talked to and has agreed, and he has the resources to sit down with any abductee or anybody who feels at risk, record all the statement, and they'll be kept in private. That's one thing. Once your statement has been kept in absolute confidence, they will start establishing whether you are at risk. Then we can find a secure place where you can be kept safe and sound. And you'll be kept by somebody in religious circles. You might even find you're a PA to a bishop, no one will know. No one will know you are there. So I've set up all that structure. I'm not saying this, I don't want to go into details, which bishop, which church, no. But again, is first, we want to secure that information because some people come to kill us because they know we have what is precious. So as soon as of tomorrow, I'm sure all of you have my contacts. Let someone contact me. I will tell you the place you might be safe to take the statement. You are not taking the statement anywhere, because once they know you are coming to this place, they are going to do the same thing. So first of all, I'll tell you the location where you can, it's secure enough to take the statement. Secondly, the person going to take your statement. And lastly, depending on the value and the magnitude of your evidence, if you feel that your life is not safe, there can be a place to keep you in safe custody. All that has been established as I speak now. I'm only waiting to get the people who are beginning and the statement can be taken. It's taken me 3 months to organize that, because if we want to go to ICC, want to go somewhere, the witness disappearance has been a problem. And some people are being abducted to kill information. And some people are being abducted to suppress. Why is your phone being deleted? They are deleting the messages. They're deleting everything that can be used as evidence. For me, I've had 3 iPhones that cannot work because they take my phones and delete everything. And sometimes they even delete the app. WhatsApp, they delete TikTok, they delete everything. They are trying to take away information which we have, which is precious. And I've discovered want to do it. I want to also say that being a deputy vice chancellor of a university in Kenya, I might not be looking very militaristic, but what I'm organizing on the background is more dangerous than when I was on the street. So people think being on the street is dangerous. I am actually more dangerous than being inside the street. So let us just take advantage of this moment and move forward. I believe that we are going to beat these people more with strategy and tact. Being on the street is not bad, but not all of us should be there so that they can use that being on the street to collect us like they're collecting maize and beans. We must organize. We have so many people supporting us. They'll never ever say, but if you meet them in person, they're supporting us, not just by mouth, but by action and resources. And resources here does not mean they're financing us. Like I said, taking witness statement will be taken, recorded, and kept safely without us incurring any cost. Secondly, should anybody needs safe custody or a strategy to be safe, we will find a way to do it. And we already have a structure. Depending on where you are coming from, whether you are coming from Kajiado, or you are coming from Machakos, or you are coming from Mombasa, Malindi, you are coming from Lamu, we know how to deal with it. The issue is, let's find a common place. And we did not want to set up a secretariat because they'll attack the secretariat. We will remain just incognito, but we will collect all the information and take them forward. So let's not be afraid. Whatever they hear from here, we don't care, because we died a long time ago. We're only waiting for the certificate of death, then we can enter our grave. And thank you very much, everybody, and good night.
Wow, thank you, Professor Fred Ogola, for summarizing the speakers, what they had to say. And you've given us a very clear way forward on what needs to be done. I see there's people who've requested to speak. I don't know if Amnesty International, are you here with us? Anybody from Amnesty International? We had a speaker, Mr. Irungu Newton. If he's still there, kindly just request to speak and we'll give you the mic. Then we have Ezra. Ezra, are you there? Ezra Kimani. Is it Ezra Kim? Ezra. Karibu sana Ezra, if you can hear me. It's now 2027, so we still have like an hour to go on this issue of abductions. We've heard from various speakers, and everybody's pointing to the direction that we need, one, to put these matters to resolve the issue of abductions, but even more importantly is what are we doing as concerned citizens, as Kenyans, to initiate a process that is going to end up with an alternative government that is going to serve the interests of the people. So we have seen that we have so many movements and social justice movements, political parties. Ukweli Party is here, and many others who are not here with us tonight on this space. I'd like perhaps to suggest as a way forward, because this conversation needs to be taken to the next level. So much so that it's just to inform you that every Wednesday, as a Free Kenya movement, we're going to be hosting a space, and the space is going to be determined by the needs of the people. Today, we decided to start with the issue of abductions because it is an issue that is very current and very present and affecting each and every one of us in one way or another. And we need to speak out and find solutions to this issue about abductions. I want to thank the speakers so far. Longton Jamil, Aslam, Longton, thank you for your courage to continue speaking the truth and standing for what is right. As somebody who knows you from the past, I think it's only fair to say that Jamil Longton is actually going to be vying for the MCA of Kitengela Ward. I don't know why he failed to say that. And perhaps this is, if you're talking about alternative leadership, then even as speakers who are here, if you have an interest in vying for any political seat, this is the platform. This is, Free Kenya movement is not only engaging in legal and constitutional matters and maandamano, but we're actually we've been organizing to take over government, but through an independent movement. We vied as independents in the last elections. I personally vied for Member of Parliament in Kajiado East in 2022, and other members, Halima Sharif was a women rep candidate, Nicholas Oyo, and we championed a lot of issues for independent candidates in court. In 2022, we sued IEBC and won in petition number E160 of 2022, where independent candidates had been subjected to collection of photocopies of IDs for their supporters, and we thought this regulation by IEBC was not fair to the independent candidates. So we challenged this regulation in the Constitutional Court, in the High Court, and through Justice Murima, he gave us a favorable ruling that nullified the election guidelines that required independent candidates and presidential candidates to produce photocopies of IDs, because that contravened the Data Protection Act. It also contravenes the rule to fair play, because candidates from political parties were not subjected to the same rules. Moving forward, as we're going towards 2027, we still are organizing around the independent movement as Free Kenya movement. We are not aligned to any political party. We are partyless. And we chose to remain partyless because we thought that the political parties in Kenya are actually part of the problem. If we want to have a serious and a genuine revolution, it therefore means that we have to do away with these big political parties that only entrench tribalism and bad governance. So as one way of emancipating the people and freeing institutions like parliament is to make sure that we vote for credible leaders, but more so leaders who are not in these mainstream political parties, because they normally serve the interest of the party, not the interest of the people. We want a government that serves the interest of the people. So as we proceed, I think I want to open up the floor. Does anybody wants to say something before we can get closing remarks? The panel is open and it's free. If you want any idea you want to share in regards to the abductions in Kenya and in Africa, because ile inafanyika abductions sio Kenya peke yake. Tumeona Mtanzania juzi ametekwa nyara. Huyu madam alikuwa ameshikwa juzi. Tuliona Besigye akitekwa nyara akipelekwa kwa serikali ya Uganda na akaingizwa kwenye koti ya kijeshi, a military court. Tumeona wa Ethiopia wanatekwa nyara hapa Nairobi na wanarudishwa kwa na pia Waturuki. So abductions is not just it's an international crime against humanity. It's not only happening to Kenyans, but even to foreigners who are in Kenya. So how do we deal with this issue legally? How do we look at, I was researching online and I saw that in some countries, they have a law called the Anti-Enforced Disappearance Act, which is an act and a bill in parliament which disallows people to be forcefully disappeared and extradited to foreign countries like Uganda, like what happened to Besigye. If we had this law in place in Kenya, then it would have forbidden such kind of an act from taking place, let alone the fact that the act itself is a crime. But do we need an Anti-Enforced Disappearance Act? Some legislation needs to come out of all of this so that we can set precedents for the future. As we are working towards the legislation, what can we do for justice for the abducted persons ourselves? I was telling my colleagues, the Kitengela 3, that we need to set up a platform which all the abducted persons can come together and jointly sue the government of Kenya for these abductions, because it is the responsibility of the state to provide security for all persons. And if it fails to do so, then the individuals can then sue the state for the forceful disappearances. And only by so doing can then we put pressure on government to stop these further abductions. Further to that, other than legislation, we have litigation in court, that's the lawsuit. And also we can continue with our ongoing, you see, we were calling for good governance and accountability. We're not just doing demonstrations for the sake of it. Has corruption ended? What is happening in terms of our debt crisis in the country? Yeah, taxation, is it still increasing? The cost of living, I think it's still unbearable to many Kenyans. How do we address these things? As the Free Kenya movement, we are undertaking to initiate a popular initiative, which we have been collecting signatures from Kenyans across the country. And I take this opportunity to also welcome each and every one of you to indulge in this referendum, because it's a people-driven referendum. It belongs to the people, to us. We are the people. So unless we can use Article 1, which gives power to the people, and Article 257 that gives us the power to change even the constitution and make laws that are supportive of the people. So this is a moment, and I think in 2025, more than demonstrations, we also need to consider looking at a popular initiative, a referendum that is going to bring Kenyans together, the civil society, the human rights organizations, political parties, with the people, so that we can have a genuine conversation and dialogue about our country. The absence of a referendum, the option is a revolution. In my view, we have two options. We can either have a revolution or a referendum. A referendum is a popular initiative, and a revolution is a popular uprising. If we go the popular uprising way, we can go end up like Sudan, or we can end up like Egypt, whereby we have chaos all across the country from Turkana to Mombasa, because there's going to be civil disobedience, there's going to be a lack of order, because there's no government in power. But if we go for a popular initiative, that is, we restructure the system and state of government to conform with the wishes of the people, we then can have an organized revolution, a constitutional revolution, which changes most about everything that we need to do. So that's my submission as we continue to speak, and I welcome other speakers to join. Thank you. I think we have Mr. Cool. Are you there? Engineer Evans. Karibu sana. Engineer. I've added you as a speaker. I've added you as a speaker, engineer. Karibu. Engineer, can you hear me? You have the mic.
Yes, thank you, Bob, for your time. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, everyone. And I'm much appreciating this forum. I'm much appreciating this time for everyone. I don't think we like what to do, but we are there to clarify and define what's meant by democracy. Over this issue of enforced disappearance, the abductees and abduction itself being in place in Kenya and other African and the international countries, we are so calling it to an end. As you say earlier on, Pope, all sovereign powers, as per Chapter 1 of the Constitution, belongs to the people, and those people have given unto the members of Parliament through the election.
Yes.
Over an election or through an election, and they have it as per the law. It is my concern that we come with ways, we come with directives and legislation and strategic plans on how we shall deal with these members of Parliament who have been used more so in not exercising the sovereign powers in the right way.
Correct.
Bob,
Yes.
I think in the time we went to the street, we saw call for the government that hears what Pope is saying. Indeed, we call for the transparency, we call for the end of corruption. But indeed, I could question that, do we have the government that hears you? Of which no. It's now high time that we take actions, we work on these people who are so-called the members of parliament who have been compromised, who have been used by the executive, who have been used by the president himself in executing maybe these bad issues, bad agendas, rather than the manifesto intended by the Kenya Kwanza coalition. I'm not happy about it because I personally come from the tribe that the president himself come from. This non-tribal issue, it's a national agenda that we should discuss. We should come up with a solution towards it. And majorly in our place, people have not turned to this thing. They used to treat it as a tribal issue, of which I believe in our people, our president, so-called the tribal man, haven't been failed at the point of implementation of his role. On the same issue, when we consider the running of the government over the critics, over these kingpins, when they criticize the government, they are being failed and being fed. It has turned to blood-based government or a bread-based government, other than the issues basing the common mwananchi being addressed in the same note. It's either we come up together, we organize for these things, we make civic education across all the 47 counties in Kenya and go for the international corporations and organizations to deal with it across East Africa and Africa itself and the international countries. Thank you for my submission. Thank you, Bob, and thank you all other speakers and the listeners. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, engineer, so much for your contributions. We are very much well advised. And thank you so much for being bold to speak out, and especially that you come from Rift Valley. We need your voices to be amplified because we are saying that this is a tribeless Kenya. We are not tribal. We are not, we are looking at issues, whether they're economic issues, if there are issues to do with the health, the SHA, the SHIF, if issues to do with education. We are all affected, irrespective of where you come from. When you talk about taxation, taxation is affecting all of us, whether you're rich, you're poor, you're black, you're white, or you come from whichever region, or you're Muslim or Christian, we all pay the same taxes. So it's about time that we also change the narrative from tribal-based politics to issue-based politics so that we can be able to transform this country, Kenya. Next speaker, please. Next speaker.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. I'm too an aspirant of Member of Parliament, Bomet Central Constituency in Bomet County. Thank you.
People power, higher power. Man, we are with you, and I wish you all the best. I hope to get your contact thereafter, and we can share more on the political side.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next speaker, anybody who wants to say something, the space is open. This space is open. Whatever you have in mind, kindly speak out and let your voices be heard. I'm going to ask my co-host, Oyo, are you there? Are you online? Nicholas Oyo. And then we have Elida Weiss. You requested to speak, Elida. I'm inviting you to as a speaker. Elida, can you hear me? Elida Weiss. Prince. Yeah, Elida, you have the mic. Elida Weiss.
Yeah, hello?
Hi.
Yeah, hi. How are you?
I'm good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for the mic. Thank you for the job you're doing. And yeah, I just have a few issues that I just wanted to raise. Especially, I wanted to really raise this issue on them no longer 4 who are still missing.
Yes.
You know, I just think we should really, we should actually really push on these people to be released wherever they are. So it's really of concern, because when the other guys were released, I just wondered why they were not released. And wherever they are, we should keep on pushing. We shouldn't be silenced, actually, because it could be your brother, it could be your uncle. So we shouldn't be silent. Because if you're silent, then no one will speak for us. And I just wanted to raise another issue on I was on another platform, and people were talking about excuse me, that if Ruto goes, then what next? Should Ruto go or the IBC? But I'm contending on the fact that if your house has been invaded, if a snake has entered your house, you will not ask, how am I going to get rid of this snake? Excuse me.
It's okay. It's okay.
You will get rid of this. Yeah, you will get rid of the snake.
Yeah.
And the snake is Ruto. And I will keep on contending, and I'm still contending. Today, I watched women going to the Ministry of Health, or to SHAF, whatever you want to call it. What is working in this country, actually? Nothing. This regime, it may collapse everything. The health system has collapsed. The medical has collapsed. They are kidnapping people. And, when people have been kidnapped, were released, then we are being gaslighted that, they were with their girlfriends. I mean, where are we heading as a country? And one thing I learned, as Kenyans, we are the ones
Yes.
who have allowed these people to treat
Yeah.
us this way. You teach people how they treat you. And when the Gen Z rose up, you remember how these people became so scared. And they were going back to their villages with their tail, you know, walikuwa wameshtuka. And then, you know, that man came and really just extended, you know, you know, the person I'm talking about.
Yes.
And as a result, this guy grew horns again.
Yes.
One thing I'm telling Kenyans is
Why
like,
don't you be bold and name names?
I'm talking of Raila.
Yes.
Raila is our enemy number one.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say it, but you know, as of right now, I've noticed that what this regime is trying to do, he's actually uses people the way, you know, you'd use a condom and just dispose it. Ametumia Mount Kenya, sasa ameenda huko Nyanza. And me, I keep on telling my brothers in Nyanza. In fact, nowadays, he's like that woman, she's called Gladys Wanga. Yeye ndiye amekuwa kibeti ya Ruto amwachi. I think that this is the person they want to pimp for us. That, you know, Luos, you know, you must give us your vote. We must rise up to the fact that this battle is not between me and you, Bob, me and Redemptor, me and whoever. I mean, this is a battle between the ruling elites who have ganged up versus us. If these people, I mean, like I was listening to, or I was reading that article of this Munturi whose son was abducted, and he went to the president, and then the boy was released. I mean, most of these guys who were abducted, who ended up in the quarry, some of them, they had no one to speak to. And that is how come up to today they are missing. These are common Kenyans. Do you want to say something? You want to say something?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, so I mean, these were people, these were young men and young women who were fighting for change. They just wanted the best for the country. And they were abducted, they went missing. And, you know, they had no one to speak for them because, you know, their father was not a minister or, you know, someone in the state. And that is why I think we must keep pushing. Ruto must go. We can't wait until 2027. There will not be a country. The health system must collapse. The economy has collapsed. The education system has collapsed. The other day, there is this school that stole Waliba exams. And then Wetangula just went and made a threat to people. I mean, if this guy can collapse Moi University, which was one of the best university in the country, his backyard, I'm a collapse apple. Right now, there was a documentary that I was watching. He is selling our land. Right now, he's in Dubai. How many acres is he giving to Dubai for this fraud? The biggest, I think this global warming or carbon, whatever, is the biggest scam ever perpetrated on humanity, actually. And I was watching this documentary. These nomads, their land has been taken. They've got no access to their land. And I was watching this clown who was explaining it to those people that, you know, it is the green thing. And I don't know what. I didn't even understand what he was saying. So, you know, wamechukua land ya watu, these people, in fact, I was listening, I really sympathize with this guy, his father who was going to, these are people who are used to moving, these nomads, they move from one area to the other. Now you can't move freely. And I'm just wondering, why has Meta, I think it is Meta and what was this other company that, you know, just went and fetched off a huge chunk of land And I am contending that there must be a lot of minerals in that land. They can't just go and fence somewhere there because they want grass to grow for carbon, I don't know what. And this is what this person is doing to Kenya. We are being taken back to, okay, we never had freedom. You know, we never had independence as per se. I can say that. But I think we should rise up and take our country back. We can't. Ruto is a psychopath. And I don't even think he loves this country. He's a puppet for the West. And he's been put there to completely destroy this country. And we must rise up. This guy must go. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I mean, we must come up. We must keep the pressure, even if it means going back to the street, even if it means, you know, like I think right now, you know, we are sending letters to the royal family in Holland, who was supposed to come, and I think that is, yeah, in Netherlands, Holland, whatever, you know, and I think that has really ticked him off because he wants to present himself as that good person. But me, he's a psychopath. We don't have a government, a government that abduct its people, and then they go on the screens, you know, on TV, and like this Farah, this government, and insulting us. In fact, this Farah guy, Malim or whatever his name is, I mean, that Matusi that he said, it just shows like these people, you know, they're treading on us. And really, it is like they're showing us the middle finger. You know, you rose up, you know, you're defeated. What are you going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? It is us. We Kenyans must realize that it is not even, this war is not, it is us against the ruling elite, because I've noticed that every time they will always gang up. The other time I saw Uhuru Kenyatta came, and, you know, there was that handshake, and, you know, and it's always power, always just seem to exchange hand. I will never see a new face, somebody we don't know. They always just seem to reappoint themselves. The other time there was this person, and he was being interviewed,
So,
and it's
Alida,
worth 4 billion.
Miss Alida, if I may ask you, so you're giving us the picture as it is.
Yeah.
What is the way forward? What is the way forward now in your submission? For 1 minute, please.
The way forward. The way forward. I think is we either we go back on the street, and if we are scared of going back to the street because they are going to kill people, like I saw today, I saw they like really adequately import a lot of these new machinery vehicles for the police force. Then I think, well, how about to sit in and to strike, to hit these people where it happened? Today, that the president of South Korea, he's being taken to court. These people stayed on the street until huyu jamaa alitoka.
Okay.
I mean, they can't kill all of us. They can't kill all of us. Me, that is, you know, they can't kill all of us. And, you know, and I can't, I'm not saying we can't wait for the ballot, because ballot, the person who counts the vote is the one who will decide who will win. And we know these guys, they've always manipulated the ballot. So we can't rely on the ballots. Even if they're saying, go and take Kura Tungoje 2027. Me, I'm just saying, your Kura 2027, forget it, guys. Forget it. Me, I think the way forward is people go on the streets or people strike. Watu wakae nyumbani. We will suffer. All of us will suffer, but for a certain period. And then, jamaa atatoka. That is my submission.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Alisa, for those very well informed remarks. Asante sana, na tumesikia yote mpaka njia ya kuelekea, unasema bado mapambano. Na nashukuru sana, manake wanawake ndio sauti ya nchi. When the women speak, the country speaks. So your voice, and it is very much welcome, and thank you so much for this contribution. Iko mwingine naona kuna Alan Trend Prince, Yasa Kim has requested, Chalo has requested, a number of requested. Okay, so we're gonna do like one, let's just take 1 minute each. I'm going to give the mic to Yasa Kim, followed by Chalo and Prince and Alan and Lutaya, okay, and Andy. They've requested, so I'll give you 1 minute each, please, because of time. We are going to end this session at 11:30 as was planned. It's now 10:58. We have 32 minutes, so we need to know how to allocate this time so that we come up with a resolution and the way forward before we end the show. So I'll start with Chalo. Chalo, unanisikia Chalo? Kama unanisikia Chalo, tafadhali mic ni yako. Chalo. Hello, Chalo, unanisikia? Karibu sana. Please give us in a minute. Give us your word, kindly.
Okay, Bob, since you're a lawyer like me, and we're discussing the issue of bringing this case, and we've seen the way the witnesses are usually dealt with, especially in those ICC cases, I was suggesting that we have a pre-recording of oral testimony of the people that wish to give their evidence with regard to the case that is going to be filed. So in case anything is done to them, in case they are taken out or anything bad happens to them, we can have the pre-recording evidence to be submitted in court, as long as it is sealed and it goes straight to the particulars of the case. It can be used to corroborate the averments that are made in the petition. So that was the suggestion that I was saying. Since we are also following up on these other abductions for the 4 guys from Lolongo. So as I was discussing with other lawyers, I came up with that idea, and I don't know whether it's feasible. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's very feasible, and Professor Fred Ogola also pointed to the fact that he's going to provide some space for people to take their statements. I think, in my view, we need to create a space. From one of the outcomes of this space should be that we can come up with a task force that is going to deal with that matter of abductions, and we can have you and 1 or 2, Fred Ogola and others, myself included, and others who want to volunteer in that task force, to take up that responsibility of initiating that process. We have organizations that have so far come up to show interest in supporting such a petition. I will not name the names here, but I think the direction you're giving is a good direction, Wakili. And for the record, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just well versed in law, but I'm not a lawyer.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. So, do you suggest that after this space we engage?
Come again?
Are you suggesting that we pick up this issue from this after this we pick up the issue of recording the statement?
Yes, please
Okay.
make a note
The
of
other,
it.
yeah.
Make a note of it, and then we will implement it for all those people who wish to give their oral testimony. We'll also provide the rules on how they're going to give their oral testimony, so it can go to the particulars to pinpoint the abductions, the time, who did it, and the various circumstantial evidence pointing to the key figures, like right now, the NIS Director General Nurdin Haji.
Yes. I think that is very much agreeable, and I don't know, I will share with you contacts, and then from there we can follow through.
I'll DM you, definitely.
Correct. Okay. Do we have another
Very
speaker?
well.
We have, thank you so much. Alan Trend, can you hear me? I'm giving you the mic. Alan Trend, if you can hear me, kindly, the mic is yours. 1 minute, please. And then followed by Lutaya. Lutaya will be next. Lutaya, can you hear me? If you can hear me, Lutaya, go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. Am I live?
Yes, you're live.
Okay, I'd love to greet all of you members, and I introduce myself as Rutaya Bruhan. Professionally, I'm a graduate teacher based here in Uganda, but also a politician and a human rights activist.
Very welcome, Lutaya. Most welcome.
All right, I'm so privileged to have this space this evening, and I really want to appreciate all your submissions that have been following. Back to the point, I see enforced disappearances in Kenya, Africa. I would love to have a simple submission, basically in the African context. Just like you already know, here in Uganda, it is even worse, if I'm to say so. As I speak now, you are aware that Senior Counsel Martha Karua is in Uganda trying to fight for the freedom of Dr. Kiza Besigye and his AD, who were illegally abducted there in Kenya, brought in Uganda, and accused in the court martial, where proceedings are not legal at all. So in Africa as a whole, there is a lot we need to do in order to have human rights observed right. Because, like here in Uganda, everyone is a victim of oppression by the state. At any point, you can be arrested and charged in any court, including military, however much you were civilian. And there is almost nothing we can do. Recently, I think you watched, during this very course of Dr. Kiza Besigye, one of his prominent lawyers, Aaron Kiza, was arrested, moreover within the court chambers. But before he even made his plea, he was not listened to. All they had to do is just give him a sentence of 9 months in jail. And that's the Africa we are living in. Honestly, we need to come up and fight for our rights, or else we shall perish or sink in one boat, just like drunkards. Thank you, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your contributions. From Uganda, we know that Uganda is one of the cases with the highest cases of enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings. Our comrade, we have Comrade Babuowino, whom we have been very close and working together. I remember the time when he was also arrested and detained illegally. We were very much together in solidarity, calling for his release. But the case of Uganda, and not only Uganda, but East Africa, is something that concerns even us as Kenyans. And generally, the reason why we call this topic as enforced disappearances in Kenya and Africa is because the same kind of, I call it institutional violence, which is orchestrated by the state, is happening in Nigeria, it's happening in South Africa, it's happening in Tanzania, it's happening in Uganda, in Kenya, in Ethiopia. We have the similar kind of injustices that are being perpetrated by the state because we inherited colonial structures that until today, we are still trying to free ourselves from that captivity. And the time is coming for this revolution to happen. I have no doubt about it. It's going to happen, and we believe we're in the right course. Uganda is going to have an election in 2026, and we are following what is happening in Uganda. We are following what is happening in Tanzania. They're having an election, I think, this year, 2025. So the kind of change that we need transcends across borders. This is not the time for us to discuss about Pan-Africanism and how to unite Africa, but still we're seeing abductions are happening in Ghana, abductions are happening in Uganda, and so it is a problem that is an international crime against humanity. So we have to stand out for each other. As we speak in Uganda, I know that so many people are still disappeared. So many people are languishing in prisons. So thank you, Speaker, for your words. Asante sana. We have about 22 minutes left before we end this session. Next speaker, Yasakim. Yasakim, kama uko on, kama unatusikia Yasakim, mic ni yako. Yasakim. Aha. Kabla ya Sakim akuje, kuna Prince Bar. Prince, Mr. Prince, are you there? The mic is yours. Okay, Prince is also not there. Andy's, can you hear me? Andy's.
Okay, let me go first.
Sure.
Hello guys, Prince Bai. Please, can I please go first?
Yeah, sure, Prince.
Okay. Salamu yangu kawaida yangu ni Kasongo must go or Ruto must go. That is my greetings. Secondly, I'd like to take this opportunity kutoa rambirambi zangu kwa wale vijana wenzetu ambao tuliwapoteza kwa mikono ya hii serikali bandia. Kina Denzel, kina Masai na wengine wengi ambao hawakufaa kufa. Walikufa wakidhulumika kwa sababu wakuwa nasema kitu inafaa. Kitu ya tatu, nasema pole kwa wale ndugu zetu wote ambao walipitia magumu wakati wametekwa nyara na hii serikali ya mshenzi ama muuaji anaitwa Kasongo, the butcher of Sugoi. Are we together? Can please can someone please confirm that we're together before I proceed?
Yes, you're live and we can hear you.
Okay, ya nne nataka kupea motisha wala survivors wote wa police brutality, including myself. Some of us went through hard times in the hands of the abductors or in the hands of the police. Personally, if I can speak about myself, I was shot 8 times during the June 25th protest. Okay, long story short, kuna wenzangu ambao tulikuwa nao kwa ward ambao wengine mpaka leo wako na risasi kwa mwili. Mtu kama Brayo Macons ako na risasi kwa matako hadi leo. Kuna watu kama kina Babunjagi, kina Benedict Voli, kina Bilimwangi, kina Kibetibul ambao naweza sema ni latest victims, but finally tuko na wao hapa. Nashukuru Mungu kwa hiyo. Lakini tusisahau kuna wengine kina Steve Mbisi, the Mlongo 4, kuna the Isiolo 3, kuna kina Mukaria, if I'm not wrong, a lot of our comrades, more than actually 40 hatujui mahali wako, kwa sababu wazazi wao ni kama wangu, hawezi pigia simu Ruto ama hawezi enda State House sasa hivi, ama kwa hii mitandao they were not that active. Hatukuweza kuweka hashtag kama vituweka ya Bobunjagi, ya Steve Kavuli, ya Steve Mbisi, ya Benedict Kavul, ya Kibeti Bull. Hao jamaa paka leo hatujawaona. We are not sure kama tutawapata wakiwa hai ama wameenda. Lakini Bobunjagi, now this comes to you. Bob, are you there? Confirm before I say whatever I want to say.
Confirm, Roger. Nico, confirm.
Umeniudhi sana na umeniudhi zaidi mpaka nimeweka kwa group. You are so selective as a victim of this movement. Don't be that selective. As a brother or as a comrade, as for me, I refer you as a comrade, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Kuna mutu, not even myself, I won't even speak about myself. I'll speak one personal guy by the name I am Chege, a very active comrade on X.
Yes.
Even before I heard about your news that you had been abducted, Chege alinis DM. Hey bro, kwaje? Fiti, aya. Unajua kuna ABCD? Aya, wapi? Naweza kutumia video. Hey bro, okay. Tufanyaje? Tuanguke nayo. Let's amplify.
Yeah.
That guy fought for you more than I did. Let me be honest. Sitaki credit mahali hanifai. Ngoja nimalize. Mimi sitaki credit mahali sifai kupewa hiyo credit. Nafaa kuchukua credit mahali hanifai, na kama hanifai wache ikae. That guy fought for you more than I did myself. Most of the time, I was even reposting his posts. Free Babunjagi, free the Kitengela 3. The guy was here, you denied him a platform. He even left. Ulimweka huko chini. Why? Okay bro, mimi sijadharau mtu, but okay, let's call a spade. Umepea watu platform wenye hawakuwa popote mahali ulikuwa huonekani. Mahali sisi wote hatukuwa tunajua tutakupata ukiwa hai ama umekufa. Bro, kuna wale watu wamekupigania. That is your that's your brothers. Forget about me. I am Chege and many more. Hata wakati ile rumor ikitoka, okay, God forbid, ati Babunjagi is dead. But nani I am Chege aliweka post. Hanifa aliyejibu. Chege alimwambia Hanifa, surely nimeweka hapa post each and every day for the last 32 days. Did you even reposted one of my posts about Babunjagi? Did you even use the hashtag free Babunjagi for once? Hanifa, surely unatuambia nini wewe? That was Chege. Bob, are you there?
Yeah, I'm with you.
That was I am Chege.
I am very much with you, sir.
Unasikia?
I'm very much with you. And,
halafu sasa hivi, sikiliza, sasa hivi mtu kama huyu unamnyima platform. Bro, tunapigana vita gani kama sisi wenyewe tuko na ubaguzi? Ati lazima ukue kwa sijui Vocal Africa, Haki Africa, sijui kongamano, sijui ugatuzi ndio upate microphone. Bro, what are we doing then? Kama sisi tunabaguana, sasa hii vita tutashinda. I thought we were brothers and sisters. Everyone who comes up na request for the mic, unajua unaenda kwa profile unaangalia ayo kuna followers watatu. Huyo ana point. Bro, it's not about followers. It is about what the person has to say. Views bro ina matter kuliko followers man. Niko na DM yake nitakudm after here. Mimi sikufurahi bro, ndo niende kwa group. Niweke hiyo kitu, niko sure mmenipatia mic kwa sababu nimeweka kitu kwa group. Generally was here. Akakuja kwa group nikamwambia bro, usiniambie vitu zingine. Hii group kama ni hivyo ibaki kwa vigil. Hizi vitu zingine kama wewe unajua Shakira na ukuja hapo utapea Shakira mic na unyime huyu, bro, haina haja weke space. Piganeni simu tu, ishe. It's either we're together or we're not together. Let's be honest my friend. Hakuna haja ya ubaguzi. kwa sababu ati kama lazima uko na big following ndio upatoe platform. Basi haina maana, piganeni simu, muongee pekenu. Mbona wako group kwamba tuache kila kitu tukuje tukujoin kwa sababu unataka kuongea? Kuna watu kuna views tofauti, alafu kuna mtu kuje hapo unanyima kila mtu platform. Napata DMs, nimeweka screenshot kadhaa kwa DM kwa group. Hebu enda uone hiyo video group, enda uone. But why? Tukianza kupigana hapa sasa bro, tunaenda wapi? Tunapigana sisi wenyewe kwa wenyewe. Ati wewe kama hujulikani upati hivi. Bro, tofauti ya sisi na Kasongo ni nini? Ni office tu hatuna, but given a chance tutakuwa worse than him.
Okay, asante.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. Okay, nikimalizia, mimi ombi langu ni moja. Mimi si muhimu kushinda sijui Redemptor ama Wanjiru. Mimi si muhimu kuliko si Profesa nani. Mimi ile tunataka ni ile usawa. Ndo nitoke inject party ya Morara, I walked out nikiwa boardroom. Nikasema kama hakuna haki, mimi siwezi kaa hapa. Na sikuwa ni mimi naongeleshwa, ni mtu anadharauliwa kwa sababu ametoka Kibera na pikipiki kwa boardroom, but hezi patwa space au nafasi aongee kwa sababu like nikasema no, mimi siwezi kama hapa. We're fighting Kasongo, we should fight him with like ukweli. Hatuwezi pigana mongo na uongo ama tupigane mtu akona fitina na sio ndio kuna fitina kati yetu. Basi hakuna vitu tutashinda. Na hata tukishinda wale watatoka kwa ofisi hawatakuwa na tofauti na Kasongo. Ni tofauti yako na Kasongo ama sisi na Kasongo itakuwa tu ni ofisi hatuna ama ni power hatuna. But given a chance tutakuwa even worse than him. So instead tukue sawa kama comrades. Wewe chenye uko nayo ni yako, we don't give a fuck about that. Wewe bro, sawa. Tukue tu sawa, ile usawa, heshima. Mtu amekuja na suit, mtu amekuja na truck, mtu na slippers, bro, ile heshima kama comrades. Tukifika hapo, mimi naye, bro, I support you as my brother. But kama itakuwa mahali ati huyu ako na bro, ati umetoka group gani? Oh, si utangamano, si nini? Oh, vocal my friend. Mimi kwa mimi in my book, bro, wewe na Kasongo hamna tofauti kabisa. Kuna jamaa anaitwa Fabish. The guy is not even in Kenya. A very good comrade, an active comrade. Huyo jamaa alikesha na space hapa Twitter. Wakati wewe bro, hatujui kama tutakuona ukiwa hai ama ukiwa umeenda. Huyo jamaa amepiga space hapa more than like bro, jamaa anataka ziza kila kitu bro. Daily ako hapa kwa Twitter kwa space like where's Babu Njagi. Leo hii ako kwa DM yangu umemnyima space. Umemnyima platform. Haizi ongea hapa kwa sababu yeye he doesn't belong to a certain organization or a certain group. Bro, wafikiri wewe kisha mtu atakubeba aje? Tunapigana vita gani basi kama tunapigana vita gani? Anyway, sitaongea sana lakini it's not about me. It's about the people, the Kenyans, the comrades, bro. Tukue sawa. Kama ni space ya watu wanaongea, kila mtu akuwe na haki apatoe space. Enda kwa comments uangalie. Watu hapa wamekuongelesha hapo. Na ni watu hapa wameongea negative about you. Why? Mimi mmenipatia nini mic, mkaniweka huko chini, mkanilishukisha. Bro, why? Niko sure singe kwa group, haungekuwa sahihi umenipea hii mic. Sasa what about those who are not in that group? Unafikiri wanasema ni mahali wako? So it's either tuko pamoja ama hatuko pamoja. Na kama ni kitu ya ubaguzi bro, just do a WhatsApp group call. Mu discuss huko. Na kama utaweka group like come kujeni tuongee kama wa Kenya ama kama comrades, then be fair. Simple as that. Anyway, sitaongea zaidi hapo. Asanteni sana.
Prince Pahab, kindly give your submission please and onward.
I'm listening, sir.
Kindly give your submission on this enforced disappearance or the so-called disappearing person, and what should be the uppermost remedy with.
Okay, listen Yeah. Mimi okay, unajua nimeingia hapa na hasira, so nimeweka wakati yangu mingi kwa hasira. lakini si hasira. Sometimes lazima tuambiane ukweli, kwa sababu tukianza kudanganyana hatutaenda mahali. Kama tunafaa kwenda mbali, tuambiane ukweli. Afadhali unaambia ukweli kukasirikie, lakini ni ukweli, kuliko undanganye ukijua kabisa mimi naenda kuingia pabaya. Bro, utakuwa unanisaidia mahali. Anyway, natangulia tu maybe for okay, a minute ama less than a minute. Hii solution ya hizi abductions ni moja tu peke yake, kwa sababu Bobunjagi mwenyewe akitekwa nyara alikuwa kwa matatu. Hiyo matatu ilikuwa na watu more than 40. Watu walimtaka nyara ni watu 4. Mnaelewa vizuri?
Yes.
So inafikia mahali tunafaa kuweka uoga chini, mwenye atakufa akufe, lakini hawa watu tulina wao accordingly. Believe you me, angalia juzi Nyandarua, watu walitoka na wale jamaa hakushikwa. Angalia Nakuru, watu walitoka wale jamaa hakushikwa. Believe you me guys, tukichoma gari mbili hakuna mtu atakuwa abducted tena, kwa sababu watajua Kenya sasa hawataki ujinga. Shikwa leo, wacha mimi nikufe na wewe. Hiyo gari tuchome gari moja tu. Akuje ingine tuchome hiyo gari ingine. Tuwe mtu mmoja watu wawili. My friend, hakuna mtu atakuwa abducted. Watu watajifunza heshima na watakuja na heshima. In uniform, we are so and so from this police station, we are here to this so and so. But because most of us were here like tunasema mimi simujui, hainihusu. Idiot, that is a very stupid mentality. You are a Kenyan, I am a Kenyan. I'm being abducted right in front of your face. Napiga nduru like help me. Halafu uko hapo umechukua simu unachukua video. Idiot, go fuck your... Anyway, tena nyamaza singe mbaya. Kwa sababu tunawapatia nguvu, kwa sababu mtu badala act ako hapo for content. Ati mimi ndo mtu wa kwanza kuweka video, mtu akishika. Alafu ulisaidiaje? Okay, sawa, ulisaidiaje? Okay, video tuko nayo sawa. Tunajua umepelekwa wapi? Hizi number plate wanaweka ni fake. Hata ukisearch unapata ni number plate ya trailer. Ilikuwa wapi? Ama ya lori ilikuwa wapi? Kwa Subaru. Hasitusaidii, kumaanisha hatuwezi wa trace na hizo number plate. So the only best thing ni kufanya nini? Ni kupiga washenzi, tuwachome. My friend, mutaona picha ile siku nitaona mtu anaabductiwa mbele yangu. Kama ni mimi sitakuwa na nguvu, there are many, but rafiki yangu ama a fellow Kenyan, a fellow comrade anakuwa abducted mbele yangu, isaid tushiko wote ama tukufe wote. Juu tuko na ujinga mingi. Hawa jamaa wanatushinda kwa sababu sisi ni wapumbavu. Unaona watu 100 wanaangalia watu wenu kaika mtu kwa gari, wako hapo tu kwa video. Bro, how stupid are you? Hata wale wahenga Waswahili wanasema wengi wape, mko 100 ama hata kama mko 20, watu wako 4. Hata hiyo Bobunjagi akishikwa kwa hiyo matatu, walikuwa watu wangapi hapo ndani? Hao watu wangeshindwa kuzuia Bobunjagi asishikwe. Juni ujinga tuko nayo. Kuchukua video ndo tumeweka. Mtu ana drone unachukua video bali usumu uende mokoi. What stupid. So it's either tuache upumbavu ya simu, tuanze kuact ama tutakufa sisi wote. Juzi ni Bobunjagi. We thank God because alikuwa ni mtu anajulikana, tuka amplify, mwisho wa siku akawachiliwa. Benedict Kavuli alishikwa tukamplify akaachiliwa. Bilimwangi Kibetibuli. What about Steve Mbisi? The CL3, where are they? Who knows? Well, kama tutapata kwa haya ma hawako hai. 4 months later, CL3 hatujua kwa wapi. 28 on okay, or a month later, Mlolongo 3 hatujua kwa wapi. Tuko hapa bado sisi tunabogwana. Umbwa sisi pumbavu zetu. Juni wa shenzi sisi ni wote wapumbavu. Kasongo atatushinda kila siku sababu sisi tunabogwana. Wangu yetu wanakuja hapa kwa activists wajulikane, walipwe, wapote. Wengine hapa mtu unakuja active anavaa suit ya 70,000. Bro, watu si wajinga bwana. Niko na evidence bro. Mimi nikiamua kuchoma hapa naweza choma shule, makaratasi, nichome principal, kila kitu.
Thank you Prince. Thank you Prince.
Asante.
Thank you, Prince. Let me give the mic to the host and the co-host. Kindly brief us as we hand up.
Okay. Thank you very much for helping us to moderate this session. I want to thank Prince for his contributions. Na Prince, ningependa kusema kwanza nashukuru sana I am Chege alinisaidia sana on Twitter, na kweli siwezi nikamzuia kuongea. There is nobody that we are favoring. We are giving, this is an open space. Kila mtu napatia chance kulingana venye naangalia kwa mtandao. This is the first time I've hosted a space. If I may have wronged anybody, I apologize. But I don't think I have any person that we are favoring over others. It's an equal opportunity. So, pole sana kama that is anybody has felt that I have left them out from this conversation. This is the first space we are having, and every other week on Wednesday, same time, we're going to be hosting a space, and I welcome each of you to contribute and even give us directions, because we need each other, as the speaker has said, Prince. So I think we were supposed to end this conversation at 11:30, and it's actually now going to 11:30. We have 1 minute. So before we wind down, anybody who has something to say, tafadhali, this is the opportunity now to do so before we wind up this space, so that we can conclude. Naomba kama kuna yeyote kuna jambo ya kusema, tafadhali, we give the mic.
Bob, sorry, I've felt the sentiment of the former speaker. I think that I know Bob very well. I don't think there's any segregation, but of course we learn, and your feedback is so deep in my heart. So just know that we have been understood. The statement I wanted to make was concerning what a leader said. A leader, please reach out to me. I don't know how, but you can try to reach me on Twitter, but I'm sure there's a way you can reach out to me. There's something to discuss behind the camera regarding what's happening at our backyard, which is Luanyanza. But I want to state here in all honesty that we have all it takes to replace this administration using alternative leadership. And we have all the intention, and that's why we don't want everybody to then sit all the time, so that other people do what can be done on the street, others are doing what can be done off the street. Remember, everybody is gifted differently, and you don't have to be on the street, you don't have to do content, but I like how the practicality of this space, I can tell you, the one we have had today is much practical than some I've had, which is very academic. I want also to say that a leader, if you are hearing me, I have exactly how Kasongo can go home before 2027. And that's why you heard me calling him Jonah, because Jonah is the fish in the boat that must leave. If not, we sink all of us. I have it with mathematical precision. There's just a few additions I'm waiting for from some 2-3 places to get this done. I can't disclose much, but I can tell you I have the formula. The execution is what remains, and we can discuss and organize this in a different way. I feel you. I come from Luanyanza. The conman is as conman as it can get. He is the worst and highest, most overrated person you can talk about. But we are not here to spew hatred. We are here to offer leadership and direction. That's why I'm saying the answer is alternative leadership, because his leadership is what it is, and we have to offer a different one to show that we are not in coalition with them. We are just in alternative path that is not their path. We have taken their path less travel, and that path less travel is not antagonism and fighting. Ours is to offer leadership that leads us to Canaan, direct, express train to Canaan, not just where you go and have a stopover with those so-called handshakes. We have a bus which expressly is going to Canaan. And the bus can't go to Canaan when we still have Kasongo in the office. Thank you.
Asante sana Fred Ogola. Florence Kanywa, she's listening. Florence Kanywa, if you're listening, kindly, I wish to welcome you to even help us sing the Ukombozi song. If anybody can lead us in that song, so we can conclude with a song and call it a nice evening for today. And we're going to have this conversation again next week, same time, on the same X space. If you have a new topic you want to suggest, we're going to work towards that. Florence Kanyo, Faradi.
Interjection, Mr. Speaker, please, sir. Interjection.
Yeah, sure.
Principal Haya speaking. Okay, kuna amesema hapo si ni mtafute, lakini sikujua exactly who was speaking. So naweza taka tu kujua ni nani, so that maybe ani DM ama ni mdm. Ni nani? Tafadhali.
Is it Professor Fred or I was saying that we have a solution, but
I think it's Professor, yeah, Professor and Prince, right?
Yes.
Prince, are you there?
Yes, sir. Okay, I don't know who was speaking, eh?
I think it's Professor Fred Ogola.
I was addressing a leader, but you've spoken about something that looks related. So, Prince, if you just check Ogola F. Ogola on Twitter, you can DM me, then we can pick it from there.
Sawa brother, asante sana, I'll look for you. Hadui ni mmoja ni Kasongo, lakini ndo tupige au hadui vizuri, lazima sisi tushikane. Hatuwezi pigana na mtu na sisi tuko divided.
We have people who had requested. Before you continue, brother, we have Otieno. Okay, we have Otieno and Yasakim who have requested, and they've not been heard. If you're listening to me, Otieno, I'm giving you the mic. I'm giving Otieno the mic, and also Yasa. You've been added as a speaker. Kindly make your remarks before we conclude. Just 1 minute. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, please.
Yeah. Sijui kama unanisikia Bob.
No, kusikia poa mtu wangu.
Thank you so much. It's good to see you, bro, and everyone. The conversation in inaendelea hapa, it's very touching, and also Prince, thank you for highlighting that. I think it's something that definitely, Bob, you've really responded very well. I think in the next conversation we'll be able to give people opportunities, but Pia, we can be able to share our thoughts on platforms, maybe on the Twitter, on the comments, on the issues around enforced disappearances. But there is something, Bob, you mentioned about East Africa, and there is someone also who talked about abductions that are happening in Uganda. I think this is something we need to find out how we can be able to address issues in East African level, because these leaders, they're speaking together. Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, Kenya, they are having this conversation together. Even the police who are abducting people, when you go to the list, they are not Kenyans, they are coming from different parts of the country. When you look at the people who are being abducted, speculations were like, wanapatikana huko Ole Polos. Which base is in Ole Polos? It's a Burundian base. So if you add 1 + 1 = 2. So these are the things that we need to really highlight and see how do we address issues as East Africa, because these people are speaking together. We've seen the presidents sign deal in United Arabs for SGR, and this is something that was already been done. So a lot is being stolen, and there is a lot of diversion. But one thing I wanted to also mention is it's so absurd unasikia the president, unasikia the minister of interior threatening Kenyans that we don't need to speak. Yet they're the ones who brought this digital identity. These people are using Safaricom, they're using other platforms, all to abduct people, to violate human rights. But when it comes to hinting them in our zaidi, the president is putting people in real caskets, but he's being just put on an AI inamuuma, ni kama anataka kuua watu kila mahali. That's something that we should really accept. And I think when we look at the issues of leadership, I really feel there is need for us to devolve the three arms of government. The moment we give one person the ownership, the leadership of deciding everything, look at how President Uhuru Kenyatta refused to sign, to appoint 34 judges. One person aliamua to, I'm not signing these people, or I'm not appointing these people. We've given the president so much power, and that's why it will always be chaos. People will always be killed. Looking into 2002, I was still young, but everyone said Nani Kibaki, but come 2007, things went south. So the issues of mechanism and systems need to change. Judicial Service Commission need to decide and choose their own Chief Justice and appoint their own Chief Justice. Legislative, they need to do issues related to legislature. The presidency or executive, it needs to be separated, because the moment the president is the one that appoints the IG, the president is the one that appoints the office ODPP, the president is the one that appoints the director of DCI. He's the one who controls everything. You cannot appoint me and then I go against you. That's why it's easier for him. It took ilikuwa rahisi for him to just appoint Kindiki, because he knows he will say go south, people go south. So we really need to address the issues of these systems. How do people make decisions? How are people appointed? We can't have IEBC. We are waiting for the president to address the issues. After the finance bill, he said he is going to address the issues of IEBC in 10 days. Sasa sahi, we are waiting for him to decide. I really like what a leader always said, because this is not how we should be moving. These people you hear, mtu kama Sudi saying if elections zikifika, kura zikikuwa kidogo wataongeza. What are these people telling us? We're being taken as fools. Last year peke yake 13 billion was given out for construction of grade 9 classes. Lakini sahi tuko in 2025, nothing has been talked about. SHA is kumekuwa na a lot of issues that is happening. People are not, there is a lot of diversion yenye imeletwa hapa. There is abductions, which they're now using it to an extent. They are mocking Kenyans by saying it is the former Vice President, Rigathi Gachagua. Then it means we don't need to have police. We need to just police ourselves. We need to protect ourselves. When everyone is saying, manake, the issues of waiting for the president to decide and the president to do this, it's something that it will put us in a very dark side. I want to bring issues in Billy ambazo Bob you had mentioned about civil disobedience and the issues of around revolution. I think we need to find ways on how to do issues of revolution, because this guy is going nowhere. He's contented to kill people. And then it is also important for us to address on issues. How do we make sure that we use referendum? But at the end of the day, if referendum can be used and then they do their own ways, they do their own things. Sahi hatujui what is the contention about the term limit. Imepotezwa, imefukuzwa huko kando, imewekwa, nobody is talking about it. And then come 2026, itakuja iwekwe tu kipaumbele. We are confused. Appointment of commissioners of IBC, they need 2 years to prepare themselves so that they can be able to have good and credible elections. We have digital identity, which is being controlled by Ruto. We have the e-citizen. It is believed that the president works with the e-citizen account. That's why sometimes activities don't continue when he's out of the country. Is this really the country that we want to? Me, I totally feel the issues of having leadership or a leader ndio inatupeleka gizani kabisa. We need systems so that that leader is there or not. Systems are working. That's why it was very difficult for the president to really highlight who kwa our majenzi nitaendea nani, nitakimbiza nani, because there was no leadership, but everyone was speaking his mind. I think this is the way that we need to make sure that we address issues well. And then last, we need political education. Kama tunaenda way of voting, we need to...
Excuse me, sir, interjection, just a minute. Excuse me, sir, interjection. Bob Njage, kuna Fabish hapo chini, ame request mic. Huu ni mtu ambaye huwa moja kati ya wale kuwa na hold spaces, nadhani hata nikiongea ni mtaja, na akona kitu ya kuongea, hebu naomba mpandishe, tafadhali.
Okay, sawa. So mimi nasema, as I conclude in my conversation, I think we really need to...
Fabish terms too. Fabish.
Prince, I feel that's a rude way of addressing an issue na bado unarudia the same thing. So I think kunafaa kuwa na decorum. When you complain about something, you also need to respect others. Thank you. As I conclude, I think political education is needed. The gap that we have in Kenya is always political education inafanywa 6 months to election, 1 year to election. Unakuja unapata vijana, they are confused, they are given handouts, political leaders.
Hello. Have we lost the speaker? Engineer Evans?
It seems the speaker is away from the mic or what?
Yeah. Where is Fabish? We're looking for Fabish. I don't know what the request is. Engineer, are you on? And
Yes,
Charlotte?
I'm on.
Okay.
Let me brief something.
Go ahead before we get Fabish and
Thank you once again, Bob Mzagi. Kielo has raised a number of issues on the model now we shall handle these things. We have to call for unity in the first place. Besides the respects and the entire, maybe a lot of nuisance attacks to the top hosts. According to me, over this space, hope we are generally giving our views that are vex the listeners, the speakers, and those who are not even in this space. It's not because of our interest. It's not because of someone's interest, but it is about the democracy that we have voted for it, but we are still fighting for it. For what Prince has said, we are so sorry, Prince. We are not on that heading, on that direction. It's about arranging ourselves to host as many topics as possible so that we see the best mode of taking this government home. It should be known that when we criticize this government, we are not opposing it, but it's what they are doing that we don't want. On that note, we as the speakers, we as the listeners, we feel like we must have democracy. we must feel the rule of law. Before even this forum, this space is being compromised, because right away it has been the topmost space, has been the topmost platform that has gathered us all and giving views as supposed to be addressed. We must see the ways on how we shall deal with these people who are very close to the state. These members of parliament who have led us down, and they are the ones who are still insulting us in front of the president himself, who has power. Whereas I think the only opposition party or the opposition government leading this in Kenya right away is the church. The church leaders have stood firmly, and the two generations, the millennials and the Gen Zs, have stand firm, fighting for democracy. In essence, we have been having political leaders, political kingpins, who, after every election, they feel like they must be in government because of their interest. It's high time that we consider that. How will we work on it to avoid this intimidation after every election, to avoid deaths after election processes, to avoid enforced disappearance and abductions after every elections? And we need to be involved if by chance that these people want us to be in government, if these people want to hear us, we must be involved in coalition forming, in political parties forming, and it should be in the pace of that. We should be in political parties that political leaders who get elected are never compromised. They speak what is in their minds. They speak what is under their sovereign powers through their people. They should speak to the representation, not representing the state.
Okay, brother.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
brother. Thank you. I really appreciate. And I think it's now 11:50. We were to end at 11:30. I want to thank everybody for their contribution so far. And I want to reiterate that we're going to have another space next week on Wednesday. And I hope each and every one of us can engage. This is a collective space. It's a collective that belongs to all of us as Kenyans and as Africans. So I want to thank each and every one of you for listening, those who are listening, those who are participating, those who have made contributions on this subject of enforced disappearances and abductions in Kenya and Africa. We shall continue with this conversation even after this space in different forums. My name again is Bob Njage, chairman of the Free Kenya Movement. Perhaps I'd like to share our website, www.freekenya.co.ke. You can check our website and we can see how we can collaborate. I want to thank all the groups, organizations, individuals who have contributed to this session today. Mungu awabariki sana na tuendelee kukua pamoja. As somebody said, unity is strength. We have the ability to transform this country and Africa to be what it's supposed to be. We know what we are dealing with. We know where we have to go, and we are prepared for this journey. I hope I'm not closing or locking anybody out of the conversation. Once again, I apologize if I may have wronged anybody or not given anybody an opportunity. But I'm sure next time there's another chance for us to engage. I would like us to end this conversation tonight, and I want to thank God for each and every one of you, and pray for your continued prosperity, for your continued health, good health. Na nawashukuru pia sana kwa kutusaidia wale ambao tulikuwa tumetekwa nyara, na kwa niaba ya Longton Jamil na Aslang Longton nasema asante. We shall continue to fight for those who have not yet been found, the persons who are still missing, the Mlolongo 4 and others. I think this is a call for unity of purpose. Tumeona kama leo kuna picha nimeona mahali kwa mtandao. There's a body that has been recovered in Ruiru. We don't know if these persons have been identified, but this is surely a case for a crimes against humanity. Na tutafuata kila njia ambayo tunaweza hadi tupate haki. Na pia tuungane pamoja kwa kuleta serikali mbadala siku ambayo inafika hivi karibuni. Nawashukuru nyote kwa kuhudhuria leo, na nasema slogan yetu ni people power, higher power. Higher power, people power. Free Kenya everywhere, and everywhere free Kenya. That's our slogan. So thank you so much.
Excuse me, sir. Mr. Babunjagi,
Yes, sir.
can I please interject?
Yes, sir.
Can I please?
Yes, you're welcome.
Can I? Yes, you're welcome. Okay, thank you. Okay, as you conclude, or as we conclude, nataka kuongea tu like for a minute before malizie, kwa sababu you are the host, so we're not amaliza, sawa? So mimi nataka encourage Wakenya wenzangu, ama sisi kama Wakenya tunafaa kuwa kitu kimoja, kwa sababu ukiangalia hata wewe sisi wote ambao tuko hapa, utaona hata kwa group kama ni WhatsApp ama kwa space tuko more than 1,000 plus, lakini ikifika ni physically tuko 5 ama tuko 10. Hao wengine wote wako wapi? Kuna wale wako nje hawafiki 10, tunaweza wajua wenyewe wako active hawafiki 10, but hao wengine wote mtu anapiga kelele hapa lakini mwisho wa siku tunajipata tuko watu 3. So tafadhali mimi nawaambia hii vita ni kubwa, na kama wewe unajua roho yako ni ndogo, ama wewe unajua kabisa ati hutaki kupata shida, tafadhali jitoe mapema. Mimi naongea kama mtoto wa pekee kwa mama yangu wa kiume. Tuko watoto peke yake. Mkubwa dadangu, mimi na wa mwisho ambaye ametoka shule juzi, mimi ninafaa kumpeleka university. But still I'm here active. Even after I was shot, after all that I went through, walikujia kwa nyumba, nikaekwa mahali leko incommunicado 3 days. I'm still here making noise. Kuna mtu hajapitia kitu. Yeye he's good or she's good at making noise online, but come into actions hayuko. So tafadhali tuache kuchochana. Kama unajua huwezi kupatikana kwa uwanja, hata kwa hii space usikue, maana wewe hatukuhesabu kama waja wetu. Na kwa hii wakati hatuhesabu ile sauti ya mahadui wetu, tunahesabu sana sana ile kimya ya marafiki wetu ambao walinyamaza wakati sisi tuko tunaumia. Hawakusema kitu. Tunawahesabu kama mahadui, kwa sababu kama huwezi toa maoni ama huwezi ongea wakati mtu anauliwa, wakati mtu ametekwa nyara, wakati mtu amepigwa risasi, wakati mtu ameuliwa, wewe ni hadui automatically kwetu sisi. So it's either you are with us or you are not with us. Go understand. Hakuna mambo kama I'm neutral. Go fuck yourself, idiot. Neutral my foot. Sema uko wapi? Kwa Wakenya ama kwa serikali? Kama ni kwa Kasongo, go fuck your fucking Kasongo. We don't give a fuck about that. Afadhali mko boti moja ndio ikizama izame yote.
Let's be mindful about our language.
Yeah. Okay, my apologies. I'm sorry, sir. So kama unaenda kwa Kasongo, enda kwa boti moja, ndio mkikufa mkufe pamoja. Usikue hapa kutupaka. Waswahili wanasema ni kupaka mtu mafuta na chupa ya mgongo, ukijua kabisa mafuta iko ndani, chupa huku nje haina mafuta. So jitambulishe uko wapi. Na kitu ingine, wale marafiki wanakuzunguka, tafadhali angalia kama
Asante ndogo.
muko.
Asante
Okay,
ndogo.
namaliza. Okay,
Dakika moja
seconds, 5 seconds, I'm finishing. Angalia
Yes.
kama wako kwa movement ama hawako kwa movement. Na kama unaona uko group wa watu ya Kasongo, bro, jitoe. Hata
na
kama
pia
hawakupei uhai, jitoe.
na pia utukumbushe grupu yako ni gani na vile tunaweza kupata.
Okay, as for me, okay, thank you. As for me, mimi nikitoka maandamano last year, nilitoka kama Prince Baha, nilitoka kama Mkenya ambaye amechoka na hii serikali na uongozi mbaya na overtaxation. Sikutoka kama grupu fulani. Kikaniramba, nikapitia nilipitia, nikienda kupona mwisho after nimeenda sajari 2 Kenyatta. Nikapata Morara akifanya Vampire Diaries. Nikatumia msemo wanasemanga, an enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's where, okay, that's how I had to look for Morara. Nilifuata Morara peke yangu. Na juu alikuwa anapigana na ile government napigana nayo, tulikuwa marafiki sana. Na tukakuwa watu wa karibu sana. Lakini mimi sitaki kuchomea jina mtu na maisha yangu sijaongelea mtu. Mimi nakwambia ukweli, lakini sitaki kuchomea jina kama hauko. Nikiona tumepitana mahali, mimi hutoka kwako na baki vile nilikuwa. That's why after some months nilitoka inject. Lakini for the record, hata ukienda kwa page yangu, Morara mara ya kwanza alivyoshikwa, tulikuwa tumetoka na yeye Bometi. Aliniwacha Narok, akanambia Baha, do ABCD, tupatane kesho ofisi. Nikiwa Narok nilipigiwa simu nikamwambia Morara alishikwa. Nilikuja na drive na sport drive. Nilikuja na, believe you me, it took me like 1 hour 52 minutes mpaka Nairobi from Narok. Niliwacha gari kwa jam pale Globe Roundabout. Nikaambia traffic, leta gari regional ama vuta. Mimi nitakujia mtavuta. Na nikachukua bike nikafuata Morama alikuwa kwa regional. Alivyoshikwa mara ya pili akipelekwa Lang'ata, akatoka akienda Karen. Mimi ndo nilikimbisha gari yangu mpaka nikapita Subaru wa DCI. Uliza Kiotie Sonko, uliza Davison Tongaren, uliza Clifford Mbeta, wote walikuwa na mimi nyuma. Kiotie alikuwa gari yangu, Davison alikuwa gari yangu, Clifford Mbeta na Prado yake alikuwa nyuma yangu. Nilipiga hazard mbele kungojea Subaru inipite juu sio anaenda wapi. Lakini tulipoanza kutofautiana, nikaona hapa mimi sifai na nikatoka. I wish him well, he's my brother, I love him. Sitaki kumharibia jina. Uwe kama unamwamini na sisi wote hadidu ni mmoja. So mimi siuko hapa kuharibia jina ya mtu ama nini. Nataka tukue watu genuine. Na kama wewe hauko na sisi, bro, si ujitoe tu rahisi. Mbona utupake like ukue hapa?
Will some of us get a chance to give us submissions kindly?
A minute, before, okay, a minute. Let me conclude. A minute. Let me conclude. Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Naomba sababu kuna wengine wangependa.
Okay, nitaishia hapo. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, sawa. Asante.
Thank you so much. Next speaker as we wind up. Is it Oceano or Chalo? Obura, can you hear me? Obura.
Is there someone called Obura, ma?
Just keep. Who am I speaking to?
It's actually Otieno Logistics.
Otieno Logistics.
Yeah. It's Otieno Logistics.
Kindly go on, please.
I think I'll start by saying that some will be drunk by power and some will be drunk by anger. Both people are very hard to control. Now, the worst person is one who has both of these attributes. He's drunk with power and he's drunk with anger. And we're dealing with one person who is very drunk with anger, very drunk with power. How do you manage such a person? You see, one thing that a dictator really fears is death. One very serious thing that a dictator fears is death. There is a reason why Museveni was very quiet in Uganda until he had that his fellow dictator was put in a coffin. And then he picked up a mic and he said, if it were me being put in a coffin, I would go ballistics on these boys, right? That is one of the greatest things that a dictator fears, death. Because a dictator knows that death is the end of dictatorship. So that is how abductions come up. That is why they run to abductions every time they feel threatened. Because they think that we fear death as they do. Because let me tell you something, abductions is not just being taken away. Abductions is deeper. Abductions is theft. They're stealing your life. They're stealing your liberty. They're stealing your will to exist freely. They're stealing your spirit, and they're stealing your certainty of tomorrow. Now, there is nothing worse than someone stealing away your certainty of seeing a tomorrow. We live to see tomorrow. Unakula leo hiyo chakula unakula leo, unakula ndio uone kesho. Hiyo kazi unaenda hiyo kazi ndio uone kesho. We do everything for tomorrow. When someone takes that away from you, amekumaliza. But one very good thing is that Kenyans are not intimidated anymore. We don't care about that anymore. We don't care about tomorrow anymore, because there's no tomorrow if we are with this nigga. Because trust me, William Ruto is not planning to stop being a president anytime soon. And if you're calculating in your mind that you're waiting for elections for William Ruto to stop being president, you're in a fucking haze. Sorry to use that word, but I'm very, very inclined to use it. You're in a haze. 2027 will just be a hurdle for him to jump. If you have ever watched Kipchoge Keino running, you know, Kipchoge Keino could run like he's not running. Most of his opponent was saying that he looks like he's not moving, but he's moving. Unashtukiaga amemaliza. And that is what Ruto is doing. You think he's not planning to finish, but he's planning to finish. 2027 is a hurdle that he's planning to jump. Umekaa unasema tunangoja kura, tutachukua kura, tutapiga kura. There is no dictator who was ever ousted by votes. No single dictator amewahi tolewa na kura. William Ruto is not planning to be